Hey there, Reddit. So you guys asked for it, and here it is. This is going to be my personal review, or at least 2 weeks worth of impression on the new Toshiba Chromebook 2. And I also do want to apologize in advance for the background noise going on. The lighting's not very good in the house, so I had to film in the backyard. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, here it is. And but before I continue, I just want to let you know that yes, I do own the original Chromebook CR48, the very one that started it all. This guy has served me so well. You know, I actually bought off of someone else about 3 years ago for like 120 bucks, and for $120, it's done really well. I mean, I've used it every day at school. I brought it with me to Europe. It's, you know, it's a good little laptop. But unfortunately, it's starting to show its age. It is having the hinge problem. You can see it doesn't close all the way anymore. That's not good. And you know, when I first got it, it was pretty quick. Actually, I don't know if I could say quick. It got the job done. Ever since it was originally came out, it was always kind of underpowered, but it wasn't intolerable. You know, when I would boot it up in like 3 seconds. Now, with the updates and stuff, oh gosh, yeah, you can see it takes forever to boot up. It's kind of it got to the point where it's completely intolerable. There we go. So we can log in. You can still get stuff done, but you know, you might go mad in the process, and that's kind of how it was in the classes. You know, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is driving me nuts. And but what I really did like was the minimalistic features. You know, no logo, no branding, nice and smooth, nice and clean. That's what I really love about this. It kind of reminds me it reminds me of the simplicity of like a Mac. You know, you'll find with a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air. And yeah, it's still just taking forever to load. Come on, let's go. I know you guys aren't here for the Chromebook CR48, you're here for the Toshiba, but just for those of you who are the early adopters and just curious to know the contrast between the two, here it is. Still loading. Yeah, I think you get the point. So, when I was in the market about a month ago, I was wanting a new Chromebook, but none of them really satisfied what I was looking for. They all did one thing really well, and then they just kind of sucked at everything else. Like, some of them have a really beautiful IPS display, but the battery sucks, and it's too small. Others have really nice hardware, like a great design, but you know, like the HP 14, I believe, and you know, nice and big display. That's what I love. Great processor, 4 gigs of RAM, but the display sucks. It's like, really? There's others with a great processor, but just everything else is just kind of like meh. The only one that really did the job was the Dell, and the problem with the Dell was it's kind of hard to get. But then I did some more searching, and I'm glad I waited, and then I saw there was the new Toshiba Chromebook 2. And what I think about this one, from comparing this with all the others, is it seems to really just kind of do everything really well. That's what really attracted me to it. First of all, I really love the aesthetics of this. I mean, for like a $330 laptop, this, I really do get the impression this is like a more higher end laptop. You can see here, it's a little bit dirty, sorry, I've been using it a lot at school. You can see just a completely flat, smooth surface. That's one of my big things with laptops. One thing that drives me nuts with Windows laptops, most of them in the market, is they have all these like knobs and levers and bumps and stuff, and I really don't like that. I know it really doesn't matter, but it's just one of my pet peeves with laptops, because when I'm pulling it out or I'm handling it, I don't want my hand to accidentally move a switch or a locking mechanism, the battery pops out. I don't know, I don't like that. And that's what I really liked about the Macs, like the MacBook Airs and MacBook Pros. It's just a nice, smooth surface. This seems to mimic it a lot. And you'll notice, no fans. Cool. Yeah, it is fanless. So it's going to be 100% silent. That's great. Well, let's see what we got here. We got a power port. Can you see that okay? Let's see. Okay, we got a power port, USB. I gotta check which USB it is. I believe it's USB 3. Should be by now. It's 2014. And we got an SD card slot. And on this side we have a headphone jack and microphone jack, it shows. So it's a combo. Okay, yeah, this is USB 3 here, and we have an HDMI port, and we have the mag lock here. So you can lock it up, usually if you're at a, I don't know, if you're afraid of it getting stolen. So let's go ahead and open it up and see how it does. Let me adjust that. Sorry, it's kind of hard to film this without being in the shot. There we go. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 seconds to boot up. It's really, really quick. Let me bring up the display here. See that a little bit better. There we go. Very beautiful. Honestly, I think I'm really big on minimalistic. And you'll see it really does resemble a MacBook Air. I mean, it's almost identical, really. Sorry, there's a fly out here. So, again, I'm filming outside. And when you first boot this thing up, the most impressive thing you're going to notice right away is the beautiful IPS display. That was probably the biggest confirming thing for me. Is, you know, I grew up with Macs my whole life, and you know, I'm always used to the IPS display, and I really think displays is one of the most underrated thing when buying a laptop. Most people when buying a laptop, they just simply look for like performance specs like processor and RAM. Those things are important, of course, but we forget that it's about the experience as well. I mean, why do you think the iPad is so successful? Because it makes the user experience so great. And my philosophy is, if you're going to stare at something all day long, why not invest some money into something that looks good? That's kind of my philosophy with it. Plus, I'm always looking at pictures, reading articles, and I want that crisp text so that it doesn't put a strain on my eyes. And it's a good size too, I think. I believe it's what, 13.5? Let me show you the box as well. This is the box it came in. So, just in case if you're like a box guy, I'm not going to do an unboxing video. I don't think it's really relevant. It's really about the computer, not the box. The box isn't anything special. So if you're looking for an amazing unboxing experience, it might not be the most amazing. But I really don't think that matters. Right now I'm just covering hardware, of course, and then we'll go in and cover software just here pretty soon. Next thing, maybe one of my... Well, okay, the quality of it I really like. It's really good quality plastic. It's not really flexing. I'm not going to do a bend test for you. If you want to do a bend test like the iPhone 6, then, you know, do that with with your own. Yeah, it's just good quality. You don't see the speakers. Cool. Again, minimalistic. The speakers apparently are skull candy, whatever. Speakers underneath the keyboard. I think the skull candy is just a big marketing gimmick. It's kind of like the Beats Audio thing. It's not really doing anything different. It's just changing the equalizer settings in the software. So, yeah. But you know what? The speakers are pretty good. Trackpad, when I first got it, I didn't like it when I first got it because it was so rough. It was almost like sliding your hand on a matte paint finish. But you know what? The more I use it, the smoother it got. So I think it's just one of those brand new things where I guess the oils on your hand and just constantly using it starts to smooth it out. And now it's pretty much fine. It's fine for me now. Here's the clicking. You know, clicky. Not too crunchy sounding like some and not too soft. It's just, I think it's just a good overall feedback on it. And it kind of clicks everywhere, so that's fine. One thing I don't like, and there's a few complaints, is that if you're typing normal like this, in a good typing position, it's going to be fine. But if you're laying back, I sometimes do that. I like to lay back on the sofa or on a recliner, and your angle's a little bit lower on the laptop. And right here, this is a little bit sharp, and that might kind of dig into your palms a little bit. That's one thing I don't like about the hardware design. I think if they would do it again, they should address that, make it a little bit easier on the palms, because after a while you're writing like this because you're leaning back, and that does hurt. But you know what? Most people with their laptops are going to be sitting up at a desk, like like me. I'm a student, and you'll be perfectly fine if you're typing that way. Besides, it's better for your back and neck. Keyboard feels fine, you know. Let's go to login. Goes in right away. There's a lot of selling points about Chromebooks that really sell for me. And also, I'm sorry if it loads slow. It's not the computer, it's the internet. I'm not getting the best connection out here. Plus, we have a little bit of an old wireless router. We're still running on wireless G for George. Yeah, we're a little bit outdated here at the house, but you know, it gets the job done. Let me go and zoom in here so you can see that better. Let's go and talk about software and performance. Hopefully, oh, another thing, it has a webcam and of course microphone. There's 3 dots, so I'm not sure what that's for. It might be what the iPhone does, where it has multiple microphones and it can use that extra information to give you better clarity. I'm assuming. I don't know entirely. And the display is glossy. Some people are going to love it, some people hate it. I love glossy displays, and the reason why, I think glossy works better with an IPS display. Because if you're the glossy really makes the blacks pop out and the whites pop out. You get way better contrast. The colors just look amazing, and it just makes everything just pop better. The big downside, though, of course, is it is a little bit reflective. Now, it's going to be more reflective right now than in a normal setting because I'm outside. But if you're doing most of your work indoors, you're not even going to notice it. So, yeah, it's not going to. I really don't think it's going to be a problem in most scenarios. It's only a problem if you're typing outside, but I don't know too many people that actually use their display. The laptop outside. But, I mean, just look at this. Let me show you the desktop again. I mean, it's just beautiful. Now, of course, we're filming, and then we're going to compress it, and then re-upload it to YouTube, where it's rendered again. So, and then you're going to watch it on your display, which most likely, statistically, isn't an IPS display. So what you see on your computer is not what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing right now is something really beautiful, really crisp. I would say it's definitely on par with the Retina displays with the Macs. I really can't tell any difference. And that's really impressive for a $330 machine. This is also a 4 gig model, so there's 2 models of the Chromebook. Chromebook 2 Toshibas. I believe there's a $250 one, and there is a $330 one. This is the $330 one. Let me just show you some stuff while I'm rambling. You're going to want to put in the little bit of extra money on the more expensive one. It really is a big difference because the $250 one is only 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it doesn't have the IPS display. So at that point, you might as well just get a different Chromebook, unless you like the hardware. This has the IPS and the 4 gigs, and that extra 2 gigs of RAM makes a huge difference on your daily activities. 2 gigs goes by quick. It really does. And with that, you're limited on how many tabs you can open and how many things you can do at the same time. The 4 gigs really opens it a lot. This is a website I love, gigapan.com. Whenever I test out an IPS display, I always go here because you're dealing with pictures so massive. They're not in the megapixel territory, they're in the gigapixel territory. And it's just a really fun website to deal with. I don't know why it's not working here. Is it this? I don't know. Let's see if I can get that to reload. The website's a little bit buggy. It happens on my other computers too. I don't know what's running. What is this? Oh, it's WebGL. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, let me just show you the website while I'm at it. It's really cool. So, this is a picture of New York, of course, and you're like, hey, what's down there? What's going on down there? Why don't we zoom in? And you'll see this has, you can't see because it's off camera, but it does have 2-finger pan to zoom. Actually, let me zoom out. This has, so you can use 2 fingers just like a Mac, and zoom in and out. Let me zoom in. We can see the individual cars, we can see the people. Let me zoom back in. This is a really cool website, honestly. Check it out if you can, gigapan.com. Look at this. We can see the individual people walking. Is that cool? Let me zoom out. And it runs smooth too. I tested out this website on a few other Chromebooks at Best Buy, and the cheaper ones did struggle. They would be slow to load. It was laggy. It wasn't smooth or fluid. This is handling it just fine, and I think it's pretty demanding. Though this is running on OpenGL in the browser, so I don't know how this would run if it was actually running on Flash. Probably would struggle a little bit, because Flash is not really the best, most optimized plugin out there. And then what's great about this is that this is also a good way to test the colors on the IPS displays to see the difference. When I would compare this display, let me zoom out. When I would compare this image with all the other Chromebooks that are on display, I had them side by side, and all the others that weren't IPS, they were all like blue. They had a blue hue. They were washed out. It wasn't crisp. This, it has more of an orange tone. And I also compared it with all the iMacs and the MacBook Airs, and the MacBook Airs looked exactly identical to this in terms of quality and colors. And I also do some graphic design, so I'm really big on making sure that things look right. You know, that's just how I am. I'm just picky about it. So I think enough about the display. You get the point of that. Let's go ahead and go through your guys' questions here on Reddit and see if I can address them. Let's go to Reddit. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Wow, that got a lot of upvotes. I guess you guys really want to see this review. So hopefully you're liking it so far. This isn't. I know I probably said this was going to be a quick review, but yeah, it's actually being a little bit more extensive. But that's kind of how I am when I'm looking for stuff. I want as much details, as much information as possible before buying it. I'm just one of those kind of shoppers. Don Eliano says, yes, please include how it performs in Crouton. Okay, sorry, Don Eliano, I really want to, but then it starts getting into developer stuff, installation of the Linux operating system. I looked it up. I really want to do it, but I really don't want to go through the effort of doing it. And it's just, I don't want Linux on here, and I just got it. I don't want to mess anything up. I'm not a developer. I'm just kind of more of a graphic designer. And but in address to your question for Crouton, how it'll perform, I am going to do some stress tests on this, and maybe that can give you some comparison on how well it'll run. I know the Linux operating systems are pretty efficient, and it's not too demanding. So if Chrome can take the beating that we're going to give it, then I'm sure Crouton will be able to handle it just fine. Let's see, Medical 2, tabs, performance. I usually have around 8 tabs open at one time. This includes streaming, YouTube, and a PDF book using Notable PDF. I would really appreciate it if you can mimic this scenario. I usually go back and forth between tabs, so I like to see performance when doing that. It'd be nice if you could test this on the beta channel. Heard it was a bit smoother on this one. Thanks. Okay, well, let's go ahead and, you say you do YouTube. Well, let's go ahead and run some YouTube. Let's do the YouTube. Let's run Tech Syndicate. I love Tech Syndicate. If you've never seen Tech Syndicate before, I would recommend you watch it. If you like technology, you want to learn about gaming machines and hardware. Hopefully my reflection isn't too bad. Yeah, you can see me. Whatever. Sorry about the reflection. Again, I'm outside, so it's going to be a little bit strong. If you want to know about reviews and what's going on in the tech industry and I guess politics and tech, check them out. Also check out Linus Tech Tips if you're into that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm running this at 180p. Running perfectly smooth. Looks great. Let's hear the audio.
Video and you may just win this. Right here in my hands is the GTX 970 DirectCU2 Strix Edition with the fancy Strix cooler. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you what's so special about this card. The cooling unit on this, of course, they're using the DirectCU2, and I believe it's like 200% or more as far as the coverage goes with the fins when compared to the stock cooling unit. We've got these two fancy fans, and the CU means that it actually makes content.
So check them out. The audio sounded great. I can hear them perfectly well. Some of the other Chromebooks would really struggle. I know my original CR48 really sucked with audio. Let's just do more audio tests. Let's go to Pandora. And notice as I'm going along, I keep opening up new tabs. I'm not closing the originals, and it's still running smooth. So again, the audio you're going to hear is not going to be what I hear, because it's going from the laptop to the camera, re-rendered again on YouTube, and then on your speakers. But this will just give me an idea at least. Okay, so it's running music right now. Let's go back to Gigapan on a new tab and see how it handles. It was a good song. Still smooth. Not a problem. Okay, let's go to, what else can we do? Blinking out here. Oh, let's just run a speed test. That's running Flash. And I'll also show you how fast my network is. It's running okay. Okay, I'm really sucky internet. I mean, it's not that bad. It's 17 megabits per second down. Still running okay. This isn't hanging up. Let's play this HD video again. Still running smooth. Let's play another HD video. I'm not going to pause it. I'm going to continue it. Let me turn that down. So we got that going on. Let's go to YouTube again. What else do we have? You can tell my history of what I watch. Let's watch some guns. I love guns. Who doesn't love guns? I'm a true American. Alright. If you love guns, check out Military Arms channel. Great reviews. I learned a lot about guns and all kinds of unique guns on here. Come on. Oh, let's try and hang up a little bit. There we go. I think what happens is I double clicked and just hang there to turn to full screen. Okay, so now this is going to go 180p. Okay, so we got a lot going on. We have the speed test there sitting in the background. This is running 180p. And we got another HD video, and we got music running. This is a lot to push on this thing. It's kind of hanging up. I don't know if it's more of a network issue or if it's the performance on this. Let me just bring this down to 720p. Yeah, I was trying to see some hang up here. There we go. Okay, I changed it to 720p. Runs pretty good. That's not bad. HD video, 180p, 720p, music, Flash. Let's keep pushing it. Let's, oh gosh, what else can we do? I don't know. Let's just do regular web browsing here. Yeah, starting to lag up now. There we go. But it's just like a few second delay and then it catches up. It's still workable, still usable. It's a little bit slower, but it's not that bad. Though, what I don't like about this test is that I don't consider this a real world test. Because you're not playing music and you're not watching videos at the same time, let alone 2 videos and browsing. You don't do that in real life. You usually switch from task to task. So, if you're just like, in a real world scenario, you're watching a video, once you're done, you pause it, open up a new tab, maybe play another video, or you close and continue on with a different video, right? Or when you're listening to music, you pause it and then watch a video. If you're using a real world scenarios like that, it's going to be just fine. Let me just keep opening up tabs here. I don't know, apple.com, Reddit, Engadget, The Verge, I think that's what it's called. Gosh, what else? YouTube. Let's just do New York Times. You can see it's doing really well. It's not really hanging up on me. I'm loading a lot. I'm really pushing this thing. For the most part, for you know, I'm kind of pushing it for a web browser. I'm sorry. I'm just blanking out on what else I can load here. You guys are probably screaming at me for all these websites I can load up. Gosh dang. I don't know. Glassdoor. eBay. Okay. So, I mean, it's loading up these 2 other pages because my internet's slow. But it's fine. I mean, look at this. Smooth scrolling. I can click. I can view this. While that's loading, I can go to The Verge. Verge is a really demanding website. Pretty smooth for the most part. Load that up. Run smooth. Scrolling still smooth. I hate it when scroll lags up. This doesn't happen. That's doing okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is perfectly usable in real world scenarios. Now, going back to the display, one of my biggest gripes, and they need to update this, and I hope they do, is icons are too small. I think it's fine generally for these icons down on the bottom and up here, but if I was reading The Verge here on its default size, look how tiny that is. It's really hard to read that. I can't read that. I mean, it's crisp, it's not pixelated, but it's too small to read. So I have to increase the zoom so I can see that. What I would recommend if you're, when you first get it, is I would go to Settings. I would go to Display Settings. No, actually, yeah, Advanced Settings, sorry. Scroll down, and then here on Web Content, Page Zoom, I found 125% to be just right. And I recommend you set it here in the settings, that way when you open up a new page, you don't have to keep zooming in every time manually. Here you can just set that and it'll just do it automatically for every page you go to. Good little feature. Let's go back to Reddit. Let's see what other questions are. PDFs, I mean, I think you already get the idea. You can definitely you can run YouTube videos and read PDFs and stuff just fine. I'm not sure what Notable PDF is. I try to Google it. I'm not really entirely sure what it is. Sorry if I don't answer your question completely, but I think you can definitely see it can pretty much handle it just fine. Beta channel, sorry, I don't want to enable these things, I'm sorry. If you can get Android APKs to work with it. I'm not very familiar with the Android development community or the process or anything. I'm not an Android developer. I believe I remember reading they were going to allow you to run Android apps onto the Chrome OS. So if you want to get details on that, I would follow like a developer community. I'm not the right guy for that. Let's see, a battle phone. Okay, I'd love one. I'm sorry. I'd love one. Very torn on getting one of these for school or not. I have a laptop with abysmal battery, or a tablet with stellar battery. The laptop just can't get through a day of use at all. More around a half of the day. while the tablet is just too small to type notes and papers for more than 10 minutes. I just don't know if it is worth giving it a school budget. Oh, I don't know if it's worth it given a school budget when I already have 2 devices, so I'd love a video review. It looks like you were in exactly the same scenario as I was just a few weeks ago. I needed to get a new computer, but I was really torn. Should I get a Chromebook? Should I get a Windows laptop? I can't get a Mac. I think that's just a little bit out of my budget right now, and a little bit overkill for what I need. Or should I get a tablet, like an iPad? So here's my take on it. If you're looking for an easygoing experience, you want to use it casually, maybe browse the web, reply to a few emails, you want really good battery life, you want a huge plethora of easy-to-use apps, get a tablet, right? That's what it's really meant for. General consumption of digital goods and information. But if you're a student, the iPad is not, at least I feel, it's not really that good as a student, because the biggest thing you need is a keyboard. And you're going to do a lot of browsing on the web for research, for projects, and that's why I went with the laptop. Now, should you get a Windows laptop or should you get a Chromebook? Well, I really honestly think if you're a student and you're not needing horsepower, I honestly think the Chromebook is the way to go. And I'm trying not to be biased here, because I've used Windows laptops a lot too, and Mac laptops. Actually, I've used to own an iBook and used it for several years. So, and I worked at Apple, so I've dealt with Macs. I've been with Macs pretty much my whole life. But I honestly think the Chromebook is really the best thing. One is it's the cheapest thing. It's way cheaper than if you get a Windows machine. 2 is performance. Remember, you're running just Chrome OS. It's a very, very light operating system. And it doesn't put a huge toll on the computer. That's why it runs so well. You saw how much I can do at the same time. And it just runs smoothly. It boots up quick. It takes like 3 seconds to boot up. I can do all my web work. It looks great. It does the job perfectly fine. The problem I have with Windows is that you're running a whole entire full-on operating system, and you're running that on really crappy. Let's be honest, it's not the best hardware, right, compared to what you can really buy with more money. So you're running a full-blown operating system on specs that are really low, and what ends up happening, and most of them are hard drive based Windows machines too. So what happens is you open it, and I watch my other students in class who are going through the same thing. They open it, and it takes forever to boot up. It takes like a minute, and then finally it boots up, and then you gotta wait even more time for the operating system to do whatever the hell it needs to do, and then finally you can launch the web browser or your apps and whatever you need to do. It just takes forever, and then the whole experience is slow. It just starts to get slower and slower the more you use it, and I just really think it's a non-enjoyable experience. I mean, heck, if my gaming PC, $1,000 machine, it's not the most amazing thing, but it's definitely not a piece of crap, is slow to boot up and to get things going, and then it starts running great, then what's it going to do on hardware like this, or close to this? Yeah, it's going to be even worse. That's what I like about Chrome OS. Keep it light, keep it simple. That's what it does really well. Battery life. Oh my gosh. Again, you're running something very light. This has been rated to run, I believe, 9 hours of battery life. So far, I have 4 hours and 42 minutes left. It wasn't fully charged when I started the video, and I've been doing a lot of stuff, like running videos in Flash and stuff. And it's holding up pretty well. And from my experience at school, I would definitely say yes. I think it gets pretty close to the 9-hour mark. Where if you're going to get a Windows laptop, I really don't think it's going to last that long. It's not. You're running, again, a full-on operating system. If you want to boost battery life, some things I recommend, on the software side of things, is, of course, stay up to date. But also, I would put AdBlock to get rid of those ads. And also, I believe AdBlock does as well. Kill the Flash. You don't want Flash running. Flash is really bloated. It's going to slow down your browsing experience. It's going to kill your battery life. It's going to eat up your processor. Yeah, it's just kill it. Enable Flash when you need it. That's my take. And you're going to see way better battery life with that as well. What else? Oh, one of the biggest things that people say when they're trying to decide between a Chromebook and a Windows laptop is people go, oh, so with the Chromebook you can only use it online? I said, well, yeah, it's mainly just an online, it's a browser. They go, well, what if you don't have internet? Well, that's a good point. What if you don't have internet? Well, then I asked them, I go, okay, well, let's say you have a Mac or a Windows laptop. Let's say you're out and you don't have internet. What do you do with it? And they have to think for a little bit, and they go, I can work on my documents. I'm like, okay. And I can work on pictures. Okay. It's really pretty much it. Unless you're some kind of video editor or graphic designer or programmer. Other than that, you really don't do anything much offline. So, I think that's one strike against the logic. Two is, they say, well, there's no word processor. Well, yeah, you can use Google Drive. Load that up. You can create a document. Bada bing, bada boom. It's 100% free, runs great, perfectly capable of everything I needed to do. There we go, and I can just... Oh man, this is terrible. Sorry, I'm writing in a really weird angle right now. Wow, you guys are going to make fun of me. Yes, this is a letter, because that makes sense. And I am typing. Cool. Now, they say, okay, well that's great, you've got a word processor, but it's online based. What if you have no internet? How am I supposed to work on my projects? Well, it does have offline mode. So let me turn off Wi-Fi. Okay, so now I'm offline. You'll see right here on the top left it says you are offline. And I can continue typing. Works fine. And what it's going to do is it's going to save on the machine itself. And then once connection is restored again, where is it? It's going to sync back up, and then your essay will then be uploaded to the web again once you get connection again. And it works perfectly fine. I've used this in real world scenarios, and yeah, because the wireless network in my school sometimes cuts off, and it's intermittent, and I still don't lose any of my work. So I think that's another strike on their logic. They go, okay, but I don't like Google Google what the hell is it called? Google Drive. I don't like it. I like Microsoft Office. Well, I got good news for you as well. So we can go here. We can go to the web store, and Microsoft offers their entire Office suite online. Let's see if we can load that up. Let me put Microsoft. Word online, you got PowerPoint online, you got Excel, so this is pretty good. Cool. Sorry, I can't talk today. Okay. So let me just show you so you can see what it looks like. So here's Microsoft Word online. And so here it is, Microsoft Word online. Looks exactly like you would on the native app. And what's cool about these browser-based processors, I really like them a lot, because you work on it on the Chromebook, you go home, go on your desktop, and boom, it's already right there because it's all synced online. You just log into one account. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I think that's another strike on the logic, is you can work offline, you can work on your Word documents still, it still has a word processor, and you can still use the Microsoft Office suite. Awesome. I think it's a win-win-win. It does pretty much everything you would need to do that you could do with a Windows laptop and a Mac laptop for the most part, because nowadays pretty much everything is online, and that's kind of the whole point of the Chromebook, is that they get it. Hey, everything's online. Let's put all that processing work on the servers instead of on the machine. And what you get with that is better performance, better battery life. I think it's a win-win-win. Okay, and also I forgot to do this. Let's go and do an octane test, but really quick before we do, I forgot to address Trouble de Boy XD. Yeah, that's a hard name to read. Does it get warm? Can I use it to watch movies on PrimeWire? Okay, we'll go ahead and answer that question while we are waiting for the octane to run. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going now, get my iMac going, and get my gaming PC to go. Okay, so we got that running. It's a benchmark. It's a good way to just run raw processing just to see how it performs. But I don't feel it's the best representation of a real world scenario. And we already did a real world scenario, and I think it's perfectly capable. But this is just having all these three is a good comparison. But going back to that guy's question, it does get a little bit warm, but you really need to run it for a long time and be doing a lot on it. Other than that, it's not discomforting. I remember using a 2011 MacBook Pro, and that thing gets really hot. It actually gets so hot that it's actually discomforting, and you gotta take it off your lap. This doesn't get that hot, and I don't think it's even able to, given the kind of processor it has. So it does get a little bit warm, but I wouldn't say it's intolerable at all. No. And can you run whatever that website was? I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, if you can run 2 YouTube videos on HD, you know, that's fine. It'll do Hulu just fine. Yeah, it's perfectly capable, I would say. Okay, it finished. My gaming PC got this score. My Mac got this score. And the Chromebook got this. So that's just for reference. The specs, my iMac is a 2008 iMac, 6 gigs of RAM, Intel Core 2 Duo, and solid state drive. I don't know if the drive matters for this test. I don't know exactly what this tests, but just letting you know the specs anyways. Gaming PC, what is it? i5 overclocked, NVIDIA 660 Ti, overclocked, 8 gigs of RAM, and yeah, and a hard drive, regular hard drive. And well, we already know the specs on the Chromebook. You can just look that up too if you want to get more detail. But yeah, that's the test on the Octane. Hopefully that helps you guys out. To wrap it up, is this a buy? Like, should you buy it? I think yes, absolutely. I think it's really the best Chromebook out there so far, and I've tried the other Chromebooks as well. I've tried the ones from Samsung, from Acer, and they're good. But I honestly think this is the best, especially for the price and what you're getting with the display and the performance and the battery life. I think it's just a good buy. How does this stack up with the MacBook Air? The MacBook Air wins. Come on, guys. It's a $1,300 machine pretty much, or a $1,000 machine. But for the price and what you're getting out of this, it's pretty close to what you would get out of the MacBook Air. It's thin, but not as thin. It's able to do daily tasks just fine. Not as fast as a MacBook Air, of course, but it does it. It's perfectly comparable. Battery life, not as good. MacBook Air is 13 hours, but this is 9. Still pretty close. MacBook Air, I don't know, maybe has a better Retina display. I can't tell, but this is still pretty freaking nice. I believe same amount of memory. You know, honestly, for a $330 machine, I think you're getting a lot out of it. I think it's the best choice for a student or for some person who doesn't want to spend a lot of money but wants to get as much as they can out of their money. And yeah, I think it's a buy. I think it's a great laptop. I'm going to go ahead and run an update here. I hope this video helped you guys out. Let me know if there's something I missed. If there's something else you want me to cover, I can look into doing it. But other than that, thanks for watching.